Hello everyone, I am Dr. Chirag Patel. In last session, we had discussed about pathophysiology of ischemic heart disease and classification of drug use in ischemic heart disease. Today, we are going to be discuss about organic nitrates and beta blocker. So, what are the learning outcome? After completion of this session, learners should be able to understand or describe pharmacological account of organic nitrates and role of beta blocker in angina and myocardial infarction. Let's first start with the organic nitrates. So the first brief history. Nitroglycerin was first synthesized in 1846 by Sobrero, who observed that a small quantity of nitroglycerin placed on the tongue, it produced a severe headache. In 1857, a Lauder Brunton administered amyl nitrate, a known vasodepressor, by inhalation, and note that anginal pain was relieved within 30 to 60 seconds. Organic nitrates are polyol ester of nitric acid, whereas organic nitrites are ester of nitrous acid. Organic nitrates of low molecular mass such as nitroglycerin are moderately volatile, oily liquid and short acting. This is the structure of nitroglycerin, whereas the high molecular mass nitrate ester, erythritol tetranitrate, isosorbide dinitrate and isosorbide mononitrate are solid and long acting. The organic nitrates and nitrites collectively term nitrovasodilator, which must be metabolized or reduced to produce nitric oxide, which is the active principle of this class of compound. So we can say that organic nitrates are prodrug. Let's first understand the mechanism of action of organic nitrates. So this is the vascular smooth muscle. Organic nitrates are enter into the cell and rapidly denitrated enzymatically by mitochondrial aldehyde dehydrogenase in smooth muscle to reduce the reactive free radical nitric oxide in intact tissue. Nitric oxide activate soluble isoform of guanyl cyclase, and this guanyl cyclase synthesize cyclic GMP from guanyl triphosphate, thereby increasing intracellular level of cyclic GMP, which activate myosin light chain phosphatase or GMP dependent proteinase kinase, which promote the dephosphorylation of myosin light chain kinase. In absence of cyclic GMP, the phosphorylated myosin light chain kinase phosphorylate the myosin, which result in actin myosin cross bridge, which leads to contraction of smooth muscle cell. Whereas increasing intracellular level of cyclic GMP promote dephosphorylation of myosin light chain kinase and reduce availability of phosphorylated MLCK, which interfere activation of myosin, and it leads to relaxation of smooth muscle. Raise intracellular cyclic GMP may also reduce calcium entry by L-type calcium channel, and which also leads to the relaxation. The nitric oxide dependent relaxation of vascular smooth muscle lead to the vasodilation. Vein express greater amount of enzyme that generate nitric oxide from the glyceryl trinitrate than arteries, which may account for predominant vasodilator action of organic nitrate. Nitric oxide mediated guanylyl cyclase activation inhibit platelet aggregation and relax muscle in bronchi and gastrointestinal tract. After completion of this effect, a phosphodiesterase enzyme metabolize cyclic GMP into GMP, and this phosphodiesterase enzyme 5 specifically inhibit by sildenafil, which is also vasodilator. Let's next discuss pharmacological action of organic nitrates. In pharmacological action, the first one is the cardiovascular effect. The most prominent action of organic nitrate is exert on vascular smooth muscle. The first one is the effect on myocardial oxygen requirement. Organic nitrate reduce myocardial oxygen requirement by reducing preload and afterload. So the first one is preload reduction. Nitrate dilate vein more than arteries, which result in peripheral pooling of blood and decrease venous return. If venous return is decreased, then preload of heart is also reduced, and end diastolic size and pressure are reduced, which result in decreased cardiac work according to the Laplace relationship. So what is Laplace relationship? The wall tension is equal to intraventricular pressure multiplied by ventricular radius. Thus, the reduction in ventricular radius decrease the tension that must be generated in the ventricular wall. Hence, decrease oxygen consumption. So, nitrate exert major beneficial effect in classical angina. Nitrates also reduce the afterload. Nitrate produce some arteriolar dilation. So, it slightly decrease the total peripheral resistance and ultimately the afterload on heart. These actions contribute to reduction in cardiac work and hence decrease oxygen consumption. So, organic nitrate decrease the myocardial oxygen requirement by decreasing preload and afterload. The next effect is effect on total and regional coronary blood flow. Ischemia is a powerful stimulus to coronary vasodilation, and regional blood flow is adjusted by autoregulatory mechanism. In the presence of atherosclerotic coronary artery narrowing, ischemia distal to lesion stimulate vasodilation. But if stenosis is severe, much of the capacity to dilate is used to maintain resting blood flow. When demand increase, further dilation may not be possible. So, the organic nitrate, which relieve anginal pain by dilating coronary artery and thereby increasing coronary blood flow. In addition, it also increases the collateral blood flow to ischemic myocardial region. Let's how. First, this is the coronary arteries, and these are the different region of ventricular muscles. So normally, in normal condition, the blood is supplied by coronary artery through ventricle muscles. This is the epicardial blood vessel. But if the coronary artery contains the atheroma, which result in the blood supply in that region is decreased and the other region is increased. So the region where the blood supply decrease, that is called the ischemic area, which is because of atheroma. In the third case, if sublingual nitroglycerin given, then this nitroglycerin can dilate epicardial stenosis and reduce the resistance to flow such area. The resulting increasing collateral blood flow to ischemic myocardial region, and which result in increase the blood flow, particularly ischemic area. To the extent that organic nitrate decrease myocardial requirement for oxygen, the increased blood flow in ischemic region could be balanced by decreased flow in the non-ischemic area, and the overall increase in coronary artery blood flow need not occur. Dilation of cardiac vein may improve the perfusion of coronary microcirculation. Next, the action of organic nitrates on other smooth muscle. First, bronchi, biliary tract and esophagus smooth muscle are relaxed by organic nitrates. But the effect on intestine, uterus is variable and insignificant. The next is the pharmacokinetic. So organic nitrates are lipid soluble, well absorbed from the buccal mucosa, intestine and skin. All except isosorbide mononitrate undergoes extensive first pass metabolism in liver. They are rapidly denitrated by glutathione reductase and mitochondrial aldehyde dehydrogenase. So next, what are the different preparation and doses of organic nitrates? Let's first start with the glyceryl trinitrate, which is also known as nitroglycerin. Nitroglycerin is available in different form or different preparation. It is available in tablet, which is normally 0.5 mg sublingual. The second, it is also available in spray form. Normally, the dose of spray is the 0.4 to 0.8 mg sublingual. The third one is the 2.5 to 6.5 mg sustained release capsule. The dose of sustained release capsule is the 5 to 15 mg oral. Next, it is also available in the form of patch. So the dose of patch is 1 patch for 14 to 16 hours per day. It is also available in injection form, 5 mg per ml, and the dose of injection is 5 to 20 microgram per minute intravenous infusion. The next, isosorbide dinitrate, which is available in the form of tablet, sublingual tablets and sustained release tablet. The sublingual tablet dose is the 5 to 10 mg. The oral dose is the 10 to 20 mg, and the sustained release tablet dose is the 20 to 40 mg. The next is isosorbide mononitrate, which is available in the form of tablet. The dose is 20 to 40 mg oral. Next, erythritol tetranitrate, which is available in the form of 5 to 15 mg tablet, and the dose is the 15 to 60 mg oral. And the last one is the pentaerythritol tetranitrate. It is available in the form of 10 mg tablet, and the dose is the 10 to 40 mg oral. This is the duration of action. The glyceryl trinitrate is the short acting. The duration is 10 to 30 minutes. But if in case of the sustained release or in case of the patches, it depends on to the formulation. The isosorbide dinitrate is also short acting, 20 to 40 minutes, where in case of the isosorbide mononitrate, erythritol tetranitrate and the pentaerythritol, the duration of action is approximately 6 to 10 hours. So these are the different preparation and the doses of organic nitrates. The next is the adverse effect. The adverse effect of organic nitrates mostly due to the vasodilation, and it includes fullness in head, which is because of vasodilation in cerebral blood vessel, which leads to throbbing headache. Some degree of tolerance develop on continuous use. Flushing, weakness, sweating, palpitation, dizziness and fainting. These are mitigated by lying down or erect posture. Methemoglobinemia means the methyl hemoglobin or methyl globin level is increased in blood, which is due to the nitrates. So methemoglobinemia is not marked with clinical dose. However, it can reduce oxygen carrying capacity of blood in severe anemia. Rashes are rare, though relatively more common with the pentaerythritol tetranitrate. The next important is the tolerance. Clinically, no significant tolerance developed on intermittent use of sublingual glyceryl trinitrate for attack of angina. However, it may become important when glyceryl trinitrate is used orally, transdermally or by continuous intravenous infusion round the clock, as well as with the use of long-acting agent, especially sustained release formulation. Tolerance may result from a reduced capacity of vascular smooth muscle to convert nitroglycerin to nitric oxide. The cross tolerance occur among all nitrates. Tolerance occur more readily with higher doses. This tolerance wins off rapidly within hour when the body is free of drug. So this is the tolerance. The next is the dependence. For organic nitrates, dependence is now well recognized. Sudden withdrawal after prolonged exposure has resulted in spasm of coronary and peripheral blood vessel. Myocardial infarction and sudden death have been recorded. Withdrawal of nitrate should be gradual. The next is the uses or indication of organic nitrates. The first indication is the angina pectoris. Nitrates are effective in classical as well as variant angina. For aborting or terminating an attack, sublingual glyceryl trinitrate tablet or spray or isosorbide dinitrate is taken on as and when required basis. In acute angina, glyceryl trinitrate is given as tablet 300 to 600 microgram. Repeat if necessary. Seek medical help if pain persists after 3 doses within 15 minutes. Glyceryl trinitrate is also given in the form of aerosol spray. As aerosol spray, 40 microgram per spray, 1 to 2 spray onto or under the tongue, maximum 3 spray prescribed. Where in case of the buccal, 2 mg buccal tablet is given in acute angina, which increase to 3 mg if necessary. But if severe angina, then it given 5 mg tablet. The second one is the stable angina. In stable angina, glyceryl trinitrate as modified release tablet is prescribed. 2.5 to 6.5 mg 3 to 4 times per day is normally prescribed. The transdermal patch of glyceryl trinitrate is also used in stable angina as patch releasing 2.5 to 20 mg per 24 hour. Apply one patch onto a fresh area of skin. Maximum dose is the 20 mg per day. Where in case of the unstable angina, glyceryl trinitrate is given intravenous infusion. So initially 10 microgram per minute, which increase in increment of 10 microgram per minute as required. The longer acting organic nitrate indicated for prevention and treatment of angina pectoris, which is due to coronary artery disease. However, development of tolerance and dependence may limit the usefulness of this approach. 6 to 8 drug-free hour daily are advisable. So this is the doses of organic nitrates in anginal attack, stable angina and unstable angina. The second indication is the acute coronary syndrome. Acute coronary syndrome we already discussed. It is a triad of unstable angina, myocardial infarction and sudden cardiac death. In acute coronary syndrome, nitrates are useful by decreasing preload, means myocardial work, as well as by increasing coronary flow by dilation or antagonism of coronary spasm if present. Initially, glyceryl trinitrate is given sublingually, but if pain persists after 3 tablets, 5 minutes apart, intravenous infusion of glyceryl trinitrate is started. The role of nitrate appear to be limited to relief of pain because no mortality benefit has been demonstrated in acute coronary syndrome. The third indication is the myocardial infarction. In myocardial infarction, glyceryl trinitrate administered by titrated intravenous infusion to avoid hypotension and tachycardia. Glyceryl trinitrate is frequently used during acute myocardial infarction with the aim of relieving chest pain, pulmonary congestion and limiting the area of necrosis. Proper patient selection is very important. Glyceryl trinitrate should not administer if systolic blood pressure is less than 90 mmHg, heart rate is less than 50 mg or greater than 100 beat per minute. The right ventricular infarction is suspected or the patient has taken sildenafil in the past 24 hours. In this situation, glyceryl trinitrate should not be administered. The fourth indication is the congestive heart failure and acute left ventricle failure. The role of organic nitrate we already discussed. The nitrate effort relief by reduced venous return, means preload, which improve in left ventricular function. Intravenous glyceryl trinitrate is the preparation of choice for emergency use. The rate of infusion must be guided by continuous hemodynamic monitoring. The next is the biliary colic. Biliary colic is the dull pain in middle to upper right area of abdomen. When the biliary colic is due to disease or morphine, it responds to sublingual glyceryl trinitrate or isosorbide dinitrate. The next indication is the esophageal spasm. The sublingual glyceryl trinitrate promptly relieve the pain of esophageal spasm. Next and the most important is the cyanide poisoning. In the patient of cyanide poisoning, sodium nitrate 10 ml of 3% solution intravenous infusion administered. The nitrate generate the methemoglobin which has high affinity for cyanide radical and which form the cyanomethemoglobin. However, these may again dissociate and release cyanide. So, the sodium thiosulfate 50 ml of 25% solution is administered intravenous. Sodium thiosulfate, if given, it forms the sodium thiocyanate which is poorly dissociate and excreted in urine. Sodium nitrate is used for this purpose because it is very weak vasodilator and the large dose greater than 300 mg sufficient to generate enough methemoglobin and it can be injected intravenous without producing hypotension. So here we discuss the pharmacological account of organic nitrate which includes its chemistry, its mechanism of action, pharmacological action, pharmacokinetic, adverse effect and therapeutic use. The next is the beta blocker. So the role of beta blocker in unstable angina and myocardial infarction. Normally, beta receptor activation increase the heart rate, accelerated AV nodal conduction and increase the contractility, and all this contribute to increase myocardial oxygen demand. So beta blocker decrease in heart rate, AV nodal conduction and myocardial contractility which reduce the myocardial oxygen demand and contributing to a reduction in angina onset with improvement in ischemic threshold during exercise and symptom. These drugs do not dilate coronary blood vessel. So in unstable angina, beta adrenergic receptor blocker are effective in reducing recurrent episode of ischemia and the risk of progression to acute myocardial infarction. Beta blocker therapy should be started and continue for 3 years in all the patients with normal left ventricle function after myocardial infarction or acute coronary syndrome. Beta blocker therapy should be used in all the patients with left ventricular systolic dysfunction with ejection fraction is less than 40% in heart failure or prior myocardial infarction unless if contraindicated. All beta blocker are nearly equally effective in decreasing frequency and severity of attack and increasing exercise tolerance in classical angina. But the cardioselective agents such as atenolol, metoprolol are preferred over non-selective beta 1 or beta 2 blocker. Example, propranolol, which may be worse variant angina due to unopposed alpha receptor mediated coronary constriction, and that may cause coronary spasm. Carvedilol, metoprolol succinate or bisoprolol which have been shown to reduce risk of death. The principal adverse effects of beta blocker are fatigue, exercise intolerance, lethargy, insomnia, nightmare, and sometimes impotence. This is role of beta blocker in unstable angina and myocardial infarction. These are the references which is used to prepare this video. Thank you. If you have any question, you can find me at patelchirag17787 @gmail.com. Thank you.